You know, it's been a while since I cracked open a cold one on After Dark, but I feel like with what we're talking about today, I'm gonna need it. This is the new Rowdy Peach IPA from Sweetwater. It's pretty rad. I like it a lot.
I'm drinking Sierra Nevada Oktoberfest beer
They
with
spelled beer wrong.
Gutman collaboration.
What's Gutman?
It's a German brewery.
Oh.
I am drinking this week's Slam cocktail, which I'm sure Jordan will put the recipe on stream right now. It's called End of Watch.
I don't have it. I'm sorry.
No, it's probably Gutman.
End of Watch. End of Watch is a good name for that, though. All things considered.
Yeah, has your watch ended, Sean?
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, okay.
Oh, why are you Sully? Why did we name you that? I don't remember.
Huh?
I'm just a Sully boy. Grog? I'm Grog?
Yeah.
Being mean.
So real quick, some positivity.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was.
Attacked you.
I have no fucking idea what that was.
Yeah.
Jordan, you ordered this. What I'm about to show, right? I want to make sure we order them before.
Yeah, mine's gonna be here soon.
So real quick, some positivity on the front end. If you do want to play Agents of the Imperium, go to Barnes & Noble and get this Combat Arena Lair of the Beast. It has a Rogue Trader, both priests. Oh, I'm looking at my camera and not the camera.
Yeah.
It's got a Rogue Trader, both priests, an Ambull, a Space Marine. It's got a whole bunch of good minis in there and it's only $35. So if it's GW pricing on those character minis, and the Navigator's in there too.
It's got
it's GW pricing.
Sniper.
Yeah, but those we don't have data sheets for. I guess that could be your Vindicare, right? Eldar Sniper is a Vindicare assassin.
Use that that's heresy, my friend.
I mean, is it though?
I was gonna figure out a Dark Eldar miniature to use it as.
So if you're playing, I don't want to jump ahead of myself, right? But I'm going to make an argument for and against using that guy as your sniper. Karya Dracis would have an Eldar sniper rolling with her.
Would she?
I guess it comes down to how hard someone how hard someone wants to WYSIWYG you, because it's like,
well,
I would be fine with it on the table as long as someone explained it at the beginning. Some people would.
Well, sure,
maybe.
But same goes for any other.
Would let you.
All right, we're way off topic.
Way off topic. Yeah.
Not that there's really a topic. This is mostly just kind of a rant stream. So
mostly Sean and Jordan ranting.
I'm gonna do my best to be reasonable. And I'm not gonna say all negatives, right? Like, I want to preface this with, like, as a whole, I'm happy with 10th edition 40k. Like, as a whole, as just like a general game system, I don't know if I'm as happy with it as I was with 9th edition. Now that kind of like the first year, like, honeymoon phase is over, I don't know if I enjoy it as much as I enjoyed 9th edition. But overall, I am positive about it. But recently, there's been some interesting decisions by Games Workshop that have kind of tilted me a little bit, if that makes sense. I don't know if Sean, I feel like you were probably feeling the same way especially after this most recent Codex release.
So I think I speak for everyone on the channel as a whole. GW fucked up. I
mean,
repeatedly, early, often.
Yeah.
I know everyone.
To be fair, they've been continuously fucking up.
I know everyone is as incensed as I am about all this. You know, I know Ryan and Elliot especially.
Ryan's fucking pissed.
Yeah, Ryan's so pissed. Elliot couldn't be here on. I was gonna say Elliot can't be here on camera today, but you know, he said that everything I say he agrees with.
I'm here to learn what I should be mad about, because I'm.
So you brought one up. You brought one up right before stream, and another one you posted in our beat. And another one you posted on our behind the scenes chat in Slam Sector today too.
Oh yeah. Well,
like just fun. The evidence of the evidence of like you put no fucking effort into this, guys. Like what the hell? Like you didn't think about this.
Yeah. I mean, so I guess I kind of want to walk things back about, I don't know how long it's been, 10 months? When did the AdMech Codex come out? Because that's kind of where all of this started.
Oh, not 10 months. It's been, was it last December?
8 months? Was it maybe? December? I don't remember.
Maybe November?
It's been somewhere between 6 and 10 months. But, you know, I was excited to play AdMech, because I like that army a lot. The Codex came out, and you guys know that I try to huff a lot of hopium. I do my best. I try to stay positive.
And on top of that, you're not competitive about things, right?
No.
So if something's mediocre, you're fine with mediocrity.
You're right. I know what you mean. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be like a competitive army for me to be happy with it.
Right.
But it should have been, I guess, kind of like the first sign that this edition just wasn't going to be what I was hoping it was going to be. Because it was a wildly, lazily written codex, and it was all over the place. Like, they didn't know what they wanted to do with it. And it kind of encompasses a lot of, like, the big issues that I have with the codexes that are coming out, like, even currently. Because the most recent one that I'm kind of, like, pissed about is the Genestealer Codex. I played 9th edition with 8th edition Genestealer cults effectively for a really long time, and it was fine. I lost almost every game that I played because they were really bad. But I was having fun because that book was it was dripping with flavor. It was a great fucking time to play that army. Even if I was getting my ass kicked, I was having a really good time because the rules were engaging and they were different, right? Like, people didn't play against Genestealer cults very often, and they were a wildly different army compared to, like, everything else that existed in the game. Because they could do shit like, one of my favorite memories is I played against a Dark Angels player at my local shop, and I used to be able to mind control an enemy model and make that model attack his own friends. And I mind controlled one of his bikers that had like a plasma cannon on the bike, and he turned around, he shot his buddy, and then he rolled ones and blew himself up. And it was the funniest shit. It was so much fun. Like, you had crazy shit like that happening all the time. But the esportsification of 40K has kind of started happening, and that they're overly streamlining things. I was excited when they were like, we're going to streamline things, we're going to make things simplified but not simple, and I don't think they've followed through on that. I think that they
did not achieve their goal.
They have, like, oversimplified things to the point that a lot of the codices are just like, they have copy-paste attachments across books.
Well, but not only that, but the core rules aren't any simpler. Like, the core rules of the game are still a bloated fucking mess, right? Like,
yeah,
and they're riddled with problems, and you have to change things, and every time they change something, they break something.
That's what I was excited that they were going to remove a lot of the rules bloat, but then they just, like, moved it elsewhere. They took a lot of the stuff that was like, overly complex about armies and like faction rules and sub-faction rules and stuff like that. They took all of that and they shunted it onto data sheets. And so now the data sheets are all overly complex. And it makes it so you are kind of forced to play with specific units, but also a lot of the data sheets, even across armies, have abilities that are basically the same, which is A, really boring, but B, they all have, like, different names or, like, slightly different wording from the other ones. And so you can't just, like, oh, that guy does the same thing as my guy, but because maybe your guy does it on a 2-up and your other guy, your opponent's guy does it on a 3-up or something like that. So it's like the same rule, but only slightly different, but not enough to make it interesting. And so it's just really obnoxious, and it's just more rules bloat. It's unbelievably lame.
Yeah, they took the bloat away that was the flavorful bloat, and now...
I mean, they cut a lot of fat where it needed to be cut. To be completely honest, they took away a lot of the stuff out of subfactions and army rules that was too complicated, and they cut down on stratagems, which was my big thing. The 9th edition had way too fucking many stratagems, and they cut down on that, and I like what they did with stratagems. They gave you like some core ones, and then here's like your detachment ones. And I like that in concept. Except when you are playing Space Marines and one of your stratagem slots is just always Armor of Contempt.
Okay, so I like that. I like that all Space Marines have Armor of Contempt. I like that that's a unifying thing.
So put that in the army. Give every army like three army stratagems, or
do like, or 2 or 3 army stratagems and then 2 or 3 detachment stratagems. Sure, but like that's less. I don't know. It's also lazy. Like the Custodes Codex was fucking awful. The Admech Codex was fucking awful. What else has been?
Admech was bad. I don't
power level
interact. I don't interact with Tyranids players very often, but I have not.
Yeah.
In general, heard positive things about the Tyranids Codex. So I would say Tyranids, Admech, Custodes, Genestealer cults, like half of the codexes that have come out have been bad. Like not even power level wise, but just boring bad books. And it kind of gets exemplified, like I was saying, in the Admech Codex, when first of all, most of their army, like for a long time, didn't interact with their army rule at all. So that was a stupid decision. I don't know who the fuck made that choice. But then if you look at the detachments,
another codex like that just came out.
The detachments are kind of exactly what I was hoping detachments wouldn't be, in that it's, hey, here's like a bonus rule for a small subsection of units in your book.
Right.
And so it forces you, like it incentivizes you to play skew. And that's like fine to an extent.
But every detachment can't be that. Right.
Right.
Like it can't be one generic detachment and then 3 skew detachments. I think the way Space Marines does it is really good, but then again, Space Marines also has the abundance of units to do it correctly. So like Space Marines, you've got a vehicle detachment, you've got a fast attack detachment, you've got a scout detachment, and like veterans detachment, and then a generic detachment.
See, there's still
that's perfect. They're all skew, but there's enough units on each skew to make them fully fleshed out.
I mean, I would argue that they're not even really that skew. Like only a couple of them are. Like for the veterans one is pretty skew because it's just like take Terminators because that's the only.
But like the Vanguard one isn't.
Correct, right. That's like Vanguard. The people were doing dumb shit like taking Centurions in Vanguard so you could like forward deploy your fucking Centurions and stuff. And it's like they don't only apply their rules to specific units. They give you an extra rule, like an extra set of rules that does cool things that you can apply to any unit. It'll work better on certain units, obviously, but you can still apply it to these other units and do goofy shit. And it's fun. It's fun to be able to do that. And Space Marines how many detachments do they have? Like 7 or 8?
6.
6?
6, yeah.
CSM has a lot. I think they have 7 or 8.
CSM has 8. Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
9 if you count Emperor's Children.
Yeah.
Which I do until they get a
yeah, I mean
I
do until they count all the
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of trying to
count the other ones, but I only count Emperor's Children because they're in a weird limbo state.
They don't. Yeah, they're in limbo.
Yeah.
Their index is not really a full index. So
no, it's a baby.
Jordan,
baby
you said something. You said something. You had way more fun with 9th edition. I've only played 3 editions.
I've only played 2 editions.
I know. I wasn't going to call you out on that, but I've only played 3 editions. I by far had the most fun with 9th edition. But I understand 9th edition was crazy complicated.
It was complicated. There was a lot. It was unbalanced. Like 9th edition was not a balanced game until the very end.
It's less complicated than the most popular tabletop game of all time, which is D&D. Like no matter what, 40K will always be less complicated than D&D, right? Like
that's a complex question because in D&D, sure. Yeah, there's more rules, but you're controlling like one unit.
And it's less on the fly recall.
Sure.
Yeah. 40K's complexity comes from having to know your units, multiple units very well, and then also have enough familiarity with all the other armies that you can
every other army
deal with what you
and
face.
You can only read those rule sheets if you pay for the codex for every army.
Yeah, that's
right.
I have a whole. So I have a document written out that I'm looking at over here. Of my list of grievances, I have a whole section. Okay. I have a whole section on the paywalling of 40K. So,
well, 40K. So, I think that's a great place to start, right? Like 40K is totally paywalled. So yeah. And I have some thoughts on this because I got into 40K. I told myself I would never play 40K. Once upon a time, I told myself I would never play 40K. Because I thought GW was predatory in their pricing model, in the way they run their game, the way that they run their company. I thought GW was predatory, and I didn't want to pay that kind of money. And then in 8th edition, they did a lot of things really well. They had the Start Collecting boxes, which were a huge fucking value. They were super well priced. You got like all those units for fucking half off. They generally were pretty competitively priced as far as everything was considered to other model companies out there, and I had just gotten into painting. Kill Team was booming as far as popularity goes, and the rules were a very elegant interpretation of the 40K rules that worked as a great onboarding to 40K. So I know I got onboarded with Kill Team. I know Matt and Ryan got back into the game because of Kill Team. Am I reading that situation correct, Ryan?
We got back into the game because of Astartes. And when we were getting back into the game,
sure,
we were like,
but
okay,
your gateway back
we're only going to play Kill Team.
We're only going to play Kill Team because we don't want to give GW any more money.
What is 40K if not big Kill Team, you know?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
But
and that happened pretty fast.
You know, like it's the pricing, the fact that I have to buy every codex, the fact that I have to pay a subscription to use the app properly, like one or the other.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Yeah.
There's other companies that do that, right? Like I get it. You know, there's other companies that you pay a subscription and then you also pay a premium for the book. Yeah. But the difference is when I'm paying for the book in other game systems, I don't need someone else's book. I don't need every book. I just need whatever books I've bought, and that's all I need.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I don't have to go on faith. I don't have to go on faith that my opponent's not lying to me about their data sheets.
Yeah. And
we just had a fucking big issue at a tournament where someone was getting their data sheets wrong. Well, if I don't know any better, because I can't read those codexes.
Well,
he's apparently notorious for trying that shit. But
I know.
He got his data sheets, but his opponents couldn't look, right? His opponents couldn't check,
right? I don't have a way to do that legally at a tournament without going to Wahapedia.
Which is arguable. Which the legality is arguable. Questionable.
Well, that's what I mean, right? That's what I mean. If I show a TO, oh hey, I pulled this off Wahapedia, they're gonna go,
nope.
Yeah.
Which that's what they should do. Like TOs should not take Wahapedia as gospel. Absolutely not.
But maybe they should be. Well, they shouldn't take it as gospel, right? But they should take it as okay. Let's go double check that in a codex. Right?
Sure. But now, the expectation is that the TOs have to own every codex.
Exactly.
Yeah, a lot of people are getting very rapidly like priced out of this hobby because price increases across the board. Like all the models are going up, paints are going up. I think codexes are more expensive now too, right? Like everything's kind of going up in price, and GW is still like their financial report for last year came out, and they another year of record profits, right? Fucking great. I'm very happy for you. Stop with the price increases. Like, chill.
Yeah.
You're soon going to have like no player base outside of your whales, and that's like not sustainable, and it's going to kill the game.
Yeah. I mean, like injection molding is like one of the cheapest manufacturing processes you can do. Like,
yeah, the tooling is expensive, but then after that, they're selling so much plastic it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you if you have a high enough volume of sale, which they do, you make up the initial cost and you start just basically printing money. And they're printing money on injection molded products that they've had around for years. Some of them, obviously there's new stuff.
Yeah, and yet they're still selling it. They're still selling it for more than any of their competitors.
They're selling plastic models that have been around since before I was born.
If you need any idea of like how much inflated the cost is, like what's the cost of like one Space Marine character? And
like $40, like $45.
Been out, that's been out for years, or even a new one. They're all the same. It's like 40, 35. How much was that box you held up a second ago, Sean?
That was $35, and it came with 1, 2, 3.
To be fair, that's like that is a loss leader product for sure.
Well, okay, so it's not. There is a secret on. Well, there is a secret on these. These are printed in China, whereas the GW plastic is.
Those aren't from UK.
These aren't from the UK. I don't know that for sure, but I know like that's one of the things on the Space Marine Heroes. They're printed in China. Space Marine Heroes, the terrain bases, the Necromunda terrain sets. Yeah, so like if you get like the Sector Imperialis bases, those are printed in China. That's why the like detail on them is so ass. These are better. Like these aren't bad, but like no, this says made in the UK. Okay, I stand corrected.
I was like, damn, that feels.
But yeah, some stuff they do. So some stuff they do print in China because they can print it for way cheaper in China. But like that's only I think terrain kits and then like Space Marine Heroes and a few other off products. I assumed this one was too.
Yeah. But yeah, I like people are starting to get paywalled out of the hobby, like, and kind of circling back to the codex thing, right? Like, you are paying what the fuck do codexes cost now? $60? You're paying $60 for a paper codex that is outdated as soon as it comes out, and for a lot of the 10th edition codexes, the majority of the codex is lore stuff that has been copy and pasted from previous editions, and it's incredibly lazy.
Well,
to charge like put that together and charge people $60 for that. That's insane.
So not only copy and pasted, but I think in some cases been copy and pasted and trimmed, so there's less.
Yeah,
like
you're
not getting like
justification for buying the codexes. The old justification was like you get a chunk of lore and like stories and stuff, which used to be kind of true. You get like new stuff in it, new artwork and stuff. That's not been the case lately.
No,
that's just not happening.
Previously, like I didn't play older editions, obviously, but like kind of my understanding of old codexes was you got your codex, and like that is your army for the edition. Like your data sheets aren't changing, your points are probably not changing. It had like whole big hobby sections and big old lore sections and stuff, and it's like you got value out of that book.
Have we got an AOS Battle Tome yet?
No. Did Stormcast come out?
Okay,
I don't think so.
Like I just got the cities Battle Tome half off for the last edition, like so that I can have reference and lore reference and stuff. It still has like 10 pages of hobby stuff in there.
Some like so the 40K books have some in there, but it's
they have reference photos, but not how to paint.
Some of them do, like some of them do, but it's basically just copied painting tutorials from like Heavy Metal. Like they took painting tutorials off their website and just like transcribed them into the book. And
I mean, I'm cool with that. I'm okay with that.
That's still just super lazy to me. Like the old books had like kit bashing shit and like here's how to make your own stuff for.
They've like taking kit bashing out of the game.
They can kit bash my ass.
Oh,
got him.
I've never bashed a kit in my life.
But like, at some point, I mean, when I buy a codex, and I'm buying a lot of codexes because I play a lot of armies for the channel. I'm paying $60 for a fucking code on the cover of the book. That's it. That's all I'm buying for $60 fucking to be able to pull that shit up on my phone. And it's fucking absurd. It's insane.
Let me pay $30 and get that code, or $20 or $15, right? Like
they used to sell digital codexes. They used to sell EPUBs and PDFs of them online.
Oh yeah, you're right. They did.
Yeah, and they stopped last edition for some fucking reason. And all they sure, but all you have to do is make your app good, and people will like start buying the codes or whatever to use in the app. Yeah. If you look at Steam, right? Like it's the thing that Gabe Newell always said: piracy is a service issue. It's not a money issue.
For sure.
Totally.
I mean, I hate to keep. I know I bring it back to D&D a lot, but like it's just interesting to see the way the two companies do things differently. And like this is less about Wizards of the Coast and more about there's a lot of third-party content I buy digitally for role-playing games and D&D, whole role-playing games that I will probably never play. I will never play this game. But you know what? I fucking bought it because I could spend $15 on the PDF of it, read through it, go, that was interesting. And you know what? I'll lose that file and I will never look at it again. I paid that creator $15 for the privilege of looking at their book. I'm not going to go pirate that, even though I can, you know, like.
But even
if the access is there, people won't. This has been a topic this week because WotC did a whole copyright thing. WotC, just like GW, refuses to release PDFs because they're afraid of piracy. What they don't understand is if you just fucking release them and let us buy them as digital for an affordable cost, you're saving on the printing cost and you're going to have less piracy because I can go spend $15 on a fucking codex.
Yep. Yeah.
And the cost of manufacturing that PDF is fucking nothing.
Well, it's not nothing.
Copy paste.
Well, the labor on making
the first
rules,
one was made.
The labor on making the rules
is minuscule compared to production costs. Yeah.
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 I mean, but
printing more of
the time spent
as a PDF is free.
The time spent for R&D and design would be where the bulk of that is, but they're not spending on that anyways. So who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think I was actually going to be upset today. I'm sorry.
But so like again, talking about D&D because I'm recently kind of into that world, right? One of the it blew my mind when Ashton was like, "Hey, you want to join this campaign with us?" It was like, "Yeah, that'd be fucking cool." And he like got on the little D&D Beyond app and added me to the campaign, and all of a sudden I had like access to every book that was that like he owned. I could read all of that shit. What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's insane. That's like
read it, play it. No, so
and you can buy little pieces of the books. Like if you don't want the whole thing, what?
They got rid of that.
Well, that's stupid. Fuck WotC. All right, no, hold on. Is WotC getting complacent?
Oh yes, no, yes they are. That's a whole other thing.
All right. Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Yes. It's so funny that you named the stream this because it's a lot of this issue, like GW and WotC are the two biggest players in tabletop gaming. Period. Am I wrong about that, Ryan? Can you make an argument for anyone else?
Actually, Gale Force 9.
Maybe Paizo, not Paizo. Fantasy Flight. Maybe
No,
Fantasy Flight.
I don't think Fantasy Flight's even close to
Fantasy Flight's a board
WotC or Games Workshop.
But that's what I mean.
Like
I mean tabletop
company.
Well, sure they are. They're tabletop gaming. They make multiple war games and skirmish games.
Oh, they do make tabletop role playing games.
We've played them on the
so
channel.
all over the place. It's hard for me to keep up with what they do.
Yeah, so I think
Asmodee
/ Fantasy Flight. I think Asmodee / Fantasy Flight is the next contender, but only because of licensing, because they have all the licenses for Star Wars, Game of Thrones.
Didn't X-Wing and Armada just get the shit canned? Like, didn't they just get shit canned completely? What's left? Legion and Shatterpoint as far as like the Star Wars license?
Yeah. Well, WotC and Games Workshop are like
they have.
Two.
Yeah.
They have
to answer your question, yes, it's WotC and Games Workshop.
But they have all the GW licenses too for role playing games.
Sure, who plays those?
It's all
not
Fantasy
me.
Flight.
But the point I was making, I guess, is that like having that level of accessibility is insane and is a game changer. Like, if I had to buy the books that I needed to play the game of Dungeons and Dragons, there's a pretty high chance that I would just been like, no, I'm not fucking with it. Like,
well, especially if you had to buy it. If you had to buy what you needed to make the character you made.
Right, because the character I made used a bunch of like supplemental content.
Yeah, which some of it was digital, and the Grung is digital only. Another conversation. But.
Yeah, because I played like the Grung was like supplemental content. The what is it? It's not a spec. What is it? Subclass?
Which subclass?
The Path of the Giant.
Okay, so
that was supplemental content, wasn't it?
Bigby's Glory of the Giants. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like I had to have the core book and like I had to have a bunch of supplemental shit.
Core book and Touch Cauldron and everything, and I mean the whole. Yeah.
But I didn't have to do that because Ashton was just like, "All right, you're in my campaign. Here's my shit."
It would have been $150 to make that character.
Yeah, and I would have just been like, I'm not interested. No.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. Actually, Rune Lords in the chat, Rising Rune Lords in the chat makes a good point. So Paizo releases every rule, everything for free, or at least technically they don't release it. Technically, there's a fan site called Archives of Nethys or something.
Nethys, Archives of Nethys.
That is fan supported, but it's got Paizo approval and licensing, and people just literally every rule is on there from every book. The only thing that's not on there is the lore.
Yeah. I mean that's because Paizo was built from the Creative Commons of D&D. So like that way of thinking is like baked.
But not anymore. They've severed all of that. They're completely legally distinct now. Yeah.
No. I'm not talking about that. The fact that they're from D&D is what's important. The fact that they came about during the time period when D&D first, as far as I know, first introduced the Creative Commons thing where anybody could create content for them.
Yeah.
And then D&D cut that off and was like, nope, none of this is licensed anymore. And Paizo was like, we have a whole fucking company that we made to do this, and now we can't. We're gonna make our own fucking game.
Well, to be fair, Paizo was licensed to do that originally for Dragon Magazine. I mean, they produced Dragon Magazine. But like they were doing other content on top of that. Was the problem?
Mm-hmm.
But they're as of last year, they're completely severed from.
Yeah, like there was some weird licensing thing that they worked out.
Well,
but
there
like,
was a
my
second
point is like
because you're talking about the 4th edition debacle. They tried to do it
again.
I
don't know what's happening.
Their fucking lesson.
What's going on?
Yeah. My point was like they're kind of built on like this idea of like, community facilitation, like sharing rules,
games
building something games for all, building something more than like what a single publisher can build by giving access. And so it's not surprising that they have better access than like Wizards of the Coast. They go through phases, like because they opened up the Creative Commons a while back again, didn't they? For D&D?
So they did for 5th edition. And then after the whole debacle last December with the OGL
stuff. Yeah.
It is now in Creative Commons. So now they have no control over it. They've relinquished control. The basic rules, you can play D&D for free now. The basic rules are in Creative Commons. Along with like most of the player's handbook. The only thing that isn't is like the Beholder and other like copyrightable things. But like like all the basic classes and a couple subclasses, all the basic species options are all in Creative Commons now. And the new book, they promised, I think by the end of the year, the new book will be in Creative Commons too.
Check out Rookies and Rulebooks, y'all. Because I don't know anything about D&D.
I gotta put out content. We'll check us out in like November.
Check out Rookies and Rulebooks.
After I get married.
Remind yourself in a couple months.
Yeah. And we'll talk about it here.
Yeah.
I think,
but kind of like
what GW needs to do, if you don't mind,
go for it.
like they're trying to squeeze money.
We want you to, Ryan. We want you to
you're here.
Listen to our opinion.
I want you to tell me I'm wrong.
Do I have to scream while I'm doing it? Ah!
Yeah.
They're trying to squeeze money out of these books. They're trying to squeeze money out of these books, and the reality is, they're not. They're not going to be making a whole lot of money on these books. Obviously, they're making some money, but they need to release the rules for free. Because like GW has said on multiple occasions throughout the years, or cheap, they're a miniatures company. They make miniatures. The game, they've said on multiple occasions, is secondary to that. That might be changing nowadays because they're getting so competitive. But they need to make the rules for free.
They got to put their money where their mouth is, dude. They keep saying
so they
that.
can update them on a online portal, on a good app. They're living documents, so we don't have all these FAQ sheets and everything. It'll onboard people into the game faster. They won't have to go out and buy these books. You'll be able to actually understand what the other person's army is doing. They could then release expensive books and codexes, but actually put the time in to put lore and artwork into them instead of trying to like force people to buy them for their rules and squeeze money out of them. And the people who are going to buy the books anyway, they'll buy those books, and honestly more people might buy those books because they actually have some value to them.
They should release paper books as like collector's editions.
Yeah, but they should make them nice collector's editions with good content and good art.
Currently, they charge way too much for those collections.
Look, they charge straight up. If they gave me the rules for free, but released like a $90, $100 like fucking nice collector's edition of a codex, I would buy it. Like for armies that I really like Genestealer cults, like fucking Admech, orcs, I would buy the collector's editions of those books. Because I like those armies so fucking much that I just I want to have that.
Actually print enough for people to actually buy them and not get drained out by scalpers and stuff.
Yeah. And even if piracy is their concern, they're not stopping it. These books get leaked like weeks before they come out.
Well, yeah. But so that's the piracy problem, right? So I don't know if you know, so movie piracy has gotten way better. By better, I mean way less of an issue.
Yeah.
In the last decade because of streaming services. So if you make me pay for,
if you look at streaming services, kind of a good example, they're getting worse. It's going back to being worse because streaming services are becoming less convenient to use.
Right. Mm-hmm. So if you have make me pay $10 a month for the fucking Warhammer app. That's fine. But give me the rules on there.
If I could pay $10, $15 a month, I pay $15 a month to play fucking World of Warcraft, dude. I would pay $15 a month to just have permanent access to all the rules that I need to play fucking Warhammer. I would pay $15 a month. At the end of the month or at the end of the year, you're getting, I can't do math. Somebody do that math for me. 12 times 15. You're getting some amount of money for me that is more than I would have spent on buying physical codexes, probably.
$145.
There you go. That's
right?
the cost of what? Almost 2.5 codexes, basically. Like,
yeah. Like if I had a good app that had all the rules in it, I had to pay $15 a month for it, I would do it. And the other thing that would happen is I would be in there one night, have a few drinks, a few glasses of wine, sitting there looking through, go to an army, be like, I wonder what this army's like. Type some stuff in, then accidentally order some new miniatures, and boom, I've got another army started.
dude,
I mean,
I on the old fucking website, I used to do that, right? Like, I would browse the old Games Workshop, like, Warhammer website, and be like, man, this shit, like, there's some cool fucking models in here. The new website sucks. Like,
the new website sucks.
This isn't even on my list. This isn't on my list,
Yeah.
but the new website sucks fucking ass. It's so bad.
I will yell about that.
Fuck.
For the love of God, remember what fucking country I'm in.
Okay, no, you know what?
The old website didn't remember either.
So you know what's worse? What's worse is I'll look up, like, let's say I was looking up, I don't know, name a unit. Give me a unit.
I can't. You put me on the spot. I don't know any Warhammer 40,000 units.
Rex.
Yo, Ryan's got racks on racks.
So I'll Google. What is rack? Are they?
Drukari unit.
They're Dark Eldar Racks. Nobody knows Dark Eldar.
I'll Google Drukari. I'll Google Drukari rack, and a GW link will be right there. I'll click the GW link. It'll then ask me for my country, and then put me back on the home.
Yeah, I tell them what country I'm in, and now I'm back on the home page, and then I just close the tab because I'm frustrated. Yeah, like, I don't care anymore. Then I go to Amazon.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not buying shit from you fucking idiots.
And you know what? This isn't on your list, Jordan, so I want to talk about this real quick while someone talked about it in the chat. Someone in the chat said they should cancel Forge World.
Yeah. Yes.
I disagree.
Fuck you, you're wrong.
One of the best miniatures I've bought recently, and I don't know where it fucking went because best miniatures I bought recently is this champion console.
Man, I don't give a shit. Give me one good reason that can't be in plastic.
The detail's better.
No, it's fucking not. That is not true.
I think so. I think it is.
That may have been
true on each other.
That may have been true in the That might have been true in the past. That is not true anymore. If you look at the models that are coming out recently for fucking 40K and AOS, speaking of fucking models, AOS has way fucking better models than 40K does. But if you look at some of the models that are coming out for AOS, dude, the detail packed on
screen doesn't look that good.
Put that dude in the blender.
That's a old ass motherfucker right there.
I don't even know why he's painted gold. Why is he painted gold?
That dude can buy liquor.
But no, new current like plastic models that are coming out absolutely have just as much detail as these resin models.
But this is so crispy.
So is the new plastic. It's fine.
To be the Sean advocate here, I will say from a production standpoint, there is kinds of details you can get with a resin model that you literally cannot get, or is like prohibitively complex to do with injection molding, just because of the nature of the manufacturing. Now, GW's gotten really good about getting that detail in there. That's why like some of the models have like very weird construction. It's because they have to lay it out like that so that the clearances are right.
Also, I didn't spend any more on that character than I would have on a plastic character.
That's like not the norm though.
Right. No, I know, but I'm saying like so if that was like a $75 character, I wouldn't have bought it, right? But it was a $35 character, the same I would have spent on a plastic character.
Sure.
So like great,
that's not normal.
You know? No, but I think it's becoming I do think it's becoming more normal. I do think that it's becoming. I do think they're being a little better on the.
I mean, I don't. I mean, I think they're phasing Forge World out. Like, I don't think it's getting any better because they don't care to make it better because they're phasing out Forge World.
I think they were going to. I don't know if they're going to do that with. I think single characters and stuff are going to still be resin. Sadly,
I think as long as Horus Heresy is still in production, at least this current edition, they will probably continue to use Forge World for things like that. I wouldn't be shocked to see that they're ceasing production of like Horus Heresy in the next couple of years.
And also, to be fair, technically Forge World is gone. There's no Forge World website anymore.
Sorry,
on the website.
Expert kits.
Expert kits, yeah.
The original Forge World went away a long time ago because like GW took it over or something. I don't know.
Forge World was like a third-party company that had license from GW. GW just bought them.
Ryan, I was in the 6th grade when that happened, and Jordan wasn't born yet. So
yeah, Sean's 25 years old. Sean's 25 years older than me or something.
Y'all a bunch of babies in here.
Yeah, we're going off on tangents that I don't even have on my sheet, so I'm just going off the fucking cuff here.
But I mean, like but that's the whole issue, right? And I know there's a couple people in the chat want to hear us get to a specific topic.
Chat, what are you mad about? Chat, tell us what you're mad about.
Is it a topic about detailed miniatures, like very nicely
detailed
miniatures, such
as fucking
sanguinary guard?
Yes.
So
yes.
Well, no.
Yes.
I will tell you some the reason I say that about chat, because we've been talking about it all week in chat. One Speed Wonder and Alpha Omega both play a faction that got squatted this week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ryan, you haven't really looked at this codex yet. You haven't really looked at this codex yet.
Me?
Ryan?
Ryan's an expert on this codex.
I sat down today and I read through the whole thing. Read through the whole thing. I went through Auspex Tactics video, mute him, stopped it.
Watched his PowerPoint presentation. Yeah.
I watched it. I love that. I love that guy, but if I'd actually watched his video, I'm kind of tired.
I would blow my brains out. Yeah. That's what I meant also, is that I would fall asleep. Yeah, not...
He's soothing.
Let's talk real quick. Let's talk real quick about...
I'm going to let you take the floor on Death Watch.
Yeah, well, let's talk real quick where we stood 2 weeks ago, right? So 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, we talked about, I was pretty sure we were going to lose kill teams. I was sure we were going to be down to 4 units for Death Watch. I was right about that. But I was also very confident that I was going to be excited about the Imperial Agents Codex.
Like, you might be losing a bunch of stuff, but you're gaining a really cool codex.
But I'm gaining a really cool codex that I'm... Oh no, Alicord, this is how he's finding out.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. Oh no. Yeah, just so you know, in case... Since you seem to be out of the loop a little bit, Death Watch has a grand total of 4 data sheets now, and they're not Space Marines.
They're not... Yeah, they're not...
Your watch has ended.
Your watch has ended.
So I was excited, right? Because I'm like, look, if I really like, and I also am biased on this because I've got 5,000 points of another Space Marine army in black armor, right? I've got 5,000 points of a second Space Marine army. I've got about 45 or 35 of Death Watch because some of it I've moved over to Templars, and I've got about 55 of Templars, give or take. Because look, I'm a whale. Whatever hobby I get into, I'm a fucking whale, man. I will spend my money on this hobby. But here's the thing. So I was excited because I'm like, look, I've got Black Templars. It'd be cool if I could play Death Watch with an Inquisition force. I love all of the kill teams that are like all the Imperial Agents kill teams. The Void guys, rogue training.
Yeah. I love those Void guys.
Void's Men at Arms, Imperial Breachers, Adeptus Arbites.
Well, I want to call them because I want to call them Euclidean Starstriders, but they're not that anymore.
I don't even think they're called Euclidean. Isn't it like Elucidian or something like that?
Yeah. Well, it is, but it's Euclidean.
It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I like
that's the Rogue Traders. Yeah.
I like all of those kill teams and like those army lists. Like that's why when I saw this $35 box for the 2 priests and the old Rogue Trader that's out of print and the Navigator.
Alpha Omega, they did get an updated index detachment. That's what they got. It was just a really bad update.
Like we lost the fucking Jacaro, man. The Jacaro got squatted. Fuck you. Give me Orangutan Boy.
I need to look at the data sheets. I'm hearing conflicting information about the Jacaro.
In Ospex's video, he had Jakaro as a data line that you could add. So I don't
Okay,
know.
but because the Jakaro used to be its own model, it didn't used to be stuck in the kill team. I think that might be what the difference is.
Like, right now it's something
It
you
was
can
in.
add to
It's been in the.
Inquisitorial Henchman.
It's been in the Inquisitorial Henchman for at least the entirety of 10th
Okay.
edition.
But you can't buy the model. I don't think you can buy the model anymore because the model's not in that box.
I mean,
Because they're phasing out Forge World.
he's not Forge World.
I mean, there's models in the Dark
Is
Elder
he not-
that you can't buy.
Is he?
No,
Oh,
he's
is he Finecast?
He might be Finecast, but he's GW.
Whatever. Finecast also sucks.
Yeah. So, all right. So here's the issue with Codex, and I'm going to keep it brief. So they were telling us, and okay, Jordan. So you were pretty positive. You're like, look, I think you're going to be fine. I think there's going to be a way you can play your armies.
And I try. I
know, and
Lord knows I try for every codex that comes out. I try to be positive.
Yeah, and that's not me talking shit, right? Like that's me saying like you.
Can't believe Sean's talking shit about me.
You were trying to keep it positive, and I'm like, well, like I could see the writing on the I've seen the writing on the walls all edition, because they haven't done any points updates on those other data sheets except for, and then finally we got a points update on Veteran, Artemis, Watchmaster, which are 3 of the 4 data sheets we kept, right? So the 3 Inquisitorial detachments are all awful. The Deathwatch detachment is just Black Spear Task Force, except it's not the most up-to-date version of Black Spear Task Force. It's like 2 erratas ago Black Spear Task Force, which is wild to me.
And it only affects like effectively 4 units in the book.
It doesn't affect any of your Ordo Xenos Inquisitors, despite the fact that it's called the Ordo Xenos detachment.
Yeah.
So no matter what, your Inquisitorial Henchmen or any other units you bring with your Deathwatch Veterans, which is your only infantry data sheet, don't get affected by this. So you've got 4 stratagems that only affect Deathwatch Veterans. You've got Armor of Contempt, which again only affects Deathwatch units. That's not a playable army, guys.
I have this whole like big box of like Deathwatch, and I was like, man, it'd be kind of cool to play like this Deathwatch army. But I was waiting. I was waiting to see what happened with them this edition. And I was hopeful. And then I was no longer hopeful, and now I have a box full of spare Space Marines for all my other Space Marine armies.
So Alpha points out there's a way to play Deathwatch. It's called.
You're playing Space Marines. You're not playing Deathwatch.
You're right. And it'd be cool if I can ally, and I would be okay if I could ally in my veterans and my Corvus.
Oh, you can. Did you know that you can?
But I can't.
But
because the Corvus doesn't have dedicated transport. So if I want to bring my Corvus.
But GW said that you could. GW said you could do this.
So you could bring one Corvus. You bring one Corvus and one Deathwatch veteran squad and a Watchmaster. That's what you get. And then you could bring.
Hey, do those by chance have the Adeptus Astartes keyword?
No, they sure don't. So they don't get what? Yeah, they don't get fulfillment anymore.
Insane.
Like so because here's the thing, right? The way you could have, and GW could have fixed this. I don't care that we lost Deathwatch Terminators. I loved my Deathwatch Terminators, but I understand why
you still
that
have those in boarding actions, right?
That's a whole fucking.
Dude, I don't know because that data sheet doesn't exist, Ryan. There's no more data sheet for it. It's in Legends. Like I understand why Deathwatch Terminators had to go. I understand why Veteran Bikers had to go. They don't have model kits that support those units, right? Like I get it. Kill Team Cassius, I'm fine going to Legends. It's like 500 years removed or 1,000 years removed from the current timeline of 40K. So if they're going to do that to Guard, where they remove all the dead Guard characters, well, half those people are dead, and Cassius is in Ultramarines again. So like, yeah, remove that.
Not dead.
He's not dead.
That's the Deathwatch veteran. I mean the Kill Team Cassius, right? So like they gave you no good way to play this. The way you could have solved this is by putting out an index that says Deathwatch veterans. Deathwatch is now an option under Codex Space Marines. You could still nix Black Spear Task Force.
I'm loud. Sorry, it's probably just because I'm yelling and I don't usually yell on this, so I haven't adjusted my gain.
Remix is kind of weird to adjust volume in sometimes.
I probably have my gain too high because.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're hosting, it's harder to tell what's what. I'm also shouting, and my mic keeps adjusting my volume down, which probably isn't helping either. So, like, you could have just put Deathwatch Veterans, Watchmaster, Artemis, and the Corvus in the Space Marine Codex as Deathwatch, the same way that you have Salamanders or Ultramarines or Imperial Fists, and then had them be requisitioned into Inquisition, and it would have been fine, right? The same way you did it with Grey Knights and Sisters.
Yeah.
And you know what? That would have solved all of my angry and all of my vitriol and all of my bitching would be gone, right? Like like I said, I'm fine losing the specialized kill teams. I have like quotes and I have like page numbers that I could cite on like I posted them in our private Discord this week, like about the Ultramaris Decree and how you've built all this lore up about how Deathwatch is a certain way, how we're going back to Chalnath, and Chalnath is set up a certain way, like about like there's 4 active watch companies in Warzone Chalnath that are all fielded on the same battlefield. You have lore about that in the Warzone.
There's a lot of shit happening in Chalnath right now. Like, the new, supposedly, like, if the rumors are to be believed, which there was some pretty big fucking leaks today, we're going back to Chalnath for Kill Team, and the grand narrative is taking place in the Chalnath Expanse. So... And
they've been putting out lore articles, like...
Yeah.
Which is super
so
cool,
it's fucking bizarre to, like, put all that out.
I'm gonna give them credit for one thing. The lore articles they've been putting out are cool.
Yeah.
Like, the Chalnath lore articles are cool.
Yeah, they're rad.
But, like... It just doesn't, like... Watch Fortress Mortgard, you have, like, this setup in the lore for Chalnath, and now you cannot field anything that looks remotely like Watch Fortress Mortgard in the game.
Yeah.
Unless your playgroup lets you bring Index Deathwatch, which, like, I'm going to play Index Deathwatch still. Stay tuned, like, in 2 weeks. You guys might have something cool on the channel. We'll see.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We'll see. We're gonna work on that.
It depends if I get it done. Okay. So I'll just say I've written some Deathwatch rules. For if we were to get a Codex Deathwatch, and every Codex gets a new model. I've made a new unit for Deathwatch. That is a lore accurate unit. It's just whether or not Jordan and I can get it done before DragonCon because we want to air it when the 3 of us are away at DragonCon.
I'm gonna be out of work for like 2 weeks coming up, so I'll have plenty of time. Don't worry.
Yeah, but I don't know if I have time. I have to get you. Yeah,
we'll figure it out. Yeah, continue.
But okay, so there's 2. I have 2 other bitches and then 1 silver lining. So the 2 other bitches, the Watchmaster, which is supposed to be the chapter master for Deathwatch, now has lost its Vect ability and now has Rites of Battle, which is the captain ability. And Watch Captain Artemis now has the lieutenant ability.
Yeah.
So, like, you also have inconsistency there.
And this like goes back to the rules bloat shit, where it's like you have the same rules across factions, but like slightly different. And so it's really fucking annoying to keep up with.
You have I think that this just got brought up in the chat. This was literally going to be my next point. The Rhino nesting dolls.
Yeah.
You can put 3 Corvuses, 3 Immolators, 3 other rhinos in a rhino.
And
then in those rhinos,
and then you can put more of those in the other rhinos that are inside the rhino.
It's such an easy problem to not have. I
don't know how you fucked that up.
Fuck, dude! Like, it makes me so mad that like things like that keep slipping through the cracks. Considering how much money you pay for these armies and for this codex, and little things like that keep slipping through the cracks. And it's like, what the fuck, man? Like, it's not even a new issue. This is like an issue that they've had before. All you had to say was non-vehicle. That's all you had to say was non-vehicle. Or like infantry. Just say fucking infantry, dude.
Well, and
what the fuck?
I didn't even mention that the Watchmaster is printed with the old rights of battle and not the updated errata rights of battle. Which I actually give them a pass, and the reason I give them a pass on because if they change rights of battle back, what they'll do is they'll remove the errata from the FAQ, and then it just reverts to what's printed. So it actually does. I've seen a lot of people bitching about the rights of battle being printed wrong. It's not actually printed wrong. It's printed correct. Because if they revert that rule, it will go back to that old rule. So the printed versions should be the original rule.
So they should stop printing rules.
I mean, yes, there's that.
But
they should stop printing rules.
That solves the whole issue in the first place, right?
Yeah, they can fix it.
Did they internally playtest this stuff? No, they did not.
No. They fired all their playtesters because stuff kept getting leaked. And you know what?
So, okay.
Stuff keeps getting fucking leaked.
And then there's Ryan brought up you could play. So Deathwatch is an army in boarding action still in the new boarding action book, but because they've lost the Adeptus Astartes keyword, you can't attach any lieutenants or captains that you can field with them per the detachment listing in boarding or the unit listing in boarding action, but you can't attach any of those characters to Deathwatch veterans. The Deathwatch Terminators are still in boarding action.
Well, so do we know that boarding actions is still going to have attached characters? Because they might not be attached to boarding actions.
That's possible. I don't know. I don't know for sure.
I'm kind of reserving most of my judgment on boarding action shit until that comes out because I don't know.
Fair.
I don't know what's going on.
To be fair, everything else I've seen with boarding actions looks exciting and I like it and whatever. But like Terminators are in boarding actions. They're not going to release unique data sheets for boarding actions. So Deathwatch Terminators are in boarding actions, but they don't have a legal data sheet.
Yeah, agents don't have an actual army rule. That's yeah.
Oh yeah, agents don't have.
The army rule is we can. This codex should have either been a full-fledged codex with an army rule, actual thought-out detachment rules and stratagems and shit, or they should have just released it as a fucking supplemental PDF. Like
a white
instead of this dumbass like half measure. What the fuck are I don't know what they're doing. I'm trying my best to like not get mad, but I'm so fucking mad.
I was so okay. Let me get to the silver lining.
Thanks for the membership, Alacord.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm so blinded by rage. I didn't even see that.
The silver lining.
Thank you.
The Deathwatch Veterans data sheet got a major update. So the Deathwatch Veterans data sheet got a major update, and it now matches the 9th edition version of the Deathwatch.
Okay, Tabletop Tactics says there's no attached characters.
Okay.
So there we go.
So yeah, Deathwatch Veterans is now been updated for their data sheet. It is now Deathwatch Kill Team, and it matches the Deathwatch Veterans data sheet from 9th edition, which is a strictly better data sheet because you have Stalker bolt rifles and you have shotguns that both deal 2 damage now, which is awesome. And like you have powerful weapons options. You lose the rocket launcher and the other weird equipment that they could just bring from the TAC Marine kit. But like overall, the data sheet is better. So great, cool. I'm glad to see that. But I don't know.
Have you ever walked back a squatted army before? I mean, Votan.
Well, there hasn't been
Votan.
The
namesake of squatting.
But that's not really walking back a squatted army, right? Like that's decades apart. Right?
I mean, that's still walking it back. It's just walking it back very slowly.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's releasing a new army and calling it the old, like saying, "Oh, well, it's kind of the old army," you know.
I mean, it is like in lore, it's the same army.
In lore, there's one line in the old codex there's 2 lines in the old codex. I read the codex twice today.
The Votan codex, you read it twice?
It's right here. It's right on my desk. I read this twice today.
Well, why?
Why?
Just for fun?
No, we were talking about grand narrative stuff.
Okay. Cool.
I was finding every reference to squats being able to be allied to Imperium.
Hey, if you guys are going to be at the Grand Narrative, come find me there. I'll be a lot more positive, and I'll give you one of my bucket beers.
Yeah, if you're going to be at the Grand Narrative, get a Slam Sector fanny pack and make Matt pay up on his promise.
No,
Specifically the one in Atlanta, not the one in the UK.
Hey, Matt's never going to watch this, right? If you're going to be at
Probably
the Grand
not.
Narrative, come find me, borrow my Slam Sector fanny pack, make Matt buy
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll hand off our fanny pack so you guys can get free beer.
Yeah. I have 2 of them, so I'll have one on rotation. You can just come in, even if you're not even playing in the Grand Narrative. They said people can come in to like watch and observe if they're respectful. So just walk in, find one of us.
Well,
get
some of
the
those
fanny
people
pack.
that were there fucking last year were not respectful. I saw fucking children running around knocking people's models over.
Ryan, do you have a black
that
and a
was
yellow?
bad.
Do you have a black and a yellow?
I have a black and
Slam?
yellow one. Yeah.
Okay, so
The
borrow
black one is
my
actually
yellow.
the black one's my climbing
Okay, so it's sweaty.
kit bag now.
So
I'm
borrow
advertising on the rock wall, you know.
Borrow my yellow, go get a beer from Matt, bring me back my yellow, and then borrow Ryan's black, and then go get another beer. He won't.
He'll
He
never
won't
notice the
know.
difference.
Okay, so all of this happened. All of this happened this week. On Monday we got some new model reveals on Monday, and
Well, hold
I
on.
was-
I want to talk.
no. I'm this is not good jumping to that yet. But like we're talking about the new model reveals,
Still related.
and I'm already pissed off. I don't know why Monday it like all hit me this Death Watch shit, and I'm just like I woke up. It's 6:00. I check Reddit for any D&D news, and then I check Warcom for any.
The model reveals on Monday made me mad. That was like the impetus for the stream.
No, I know, but I was already mad. I was already mad before those models came out, because so normally the articles hit. Sometimes there's an article before I wake up.
Yeah.
But normally they hit at 6:30 my time, which is 9:30 your time.
Yeah.
So I checked Reddit, I checked Warcom, nothing, whatever. I went and took a shower, came and sat here in the office for a second, checked Warcom, saw the models, opinions on that we'll get to in a second. But I was already like for some reason between the time I got out of the shower to sat down here, I just started fuming about Death Watch for no fucking reason. Like, and I don't know, like, I mean, not for no reason, but like out of nowhere, because like last week I was fine about it, right? And then I like thought, about it, I'm like,
that's just the stages of grief, my dude.
sure, yeah, okay, great. Yeah, you're right. I do think it's possible that GW walks back this squatting next.
Oh, now
edition.
we're in the bargaining phase. Got it.
Well, because so here's my main issue, right? I've got another army of I'm better set up than most black armored space marine players,
Dude.
because I've got 2 armies of it, right?
Yeah.
So I could easily convert my Death Watch to Templars, or just play them alongside Templars thematically as like an allied force. But like I don't know what I want to do at this point, because well, what if they walk this back? What if we get like a codex? You know what I mean? What if we get an index? What if we get a Codex 6th edition? And then I've changed because here's the thing: longtime Death Watch players remember 8th edition. It was all about Stormbolters, Storm Shields. 9th edition, that was not a functional loadout for Death Watch veterans.
Okay.
Between 9th edition and 10th edition, I don't remember what it was, but another loadout issue changed. So I've had to convert and buy more models every edition to fit whatever GW decides Death Watch rules are now. And I've done it. And I've kit bashed, and I've 3D printed, and I've
like
freehanded. And
your Death Watch army, and I assume this probably applies to a lot of Death Watch armies, because it's like just by the nature of like the way that the army exists, is like very much a labor of love, like hobby army. Like, this is gonna be so fucking rad to put on the table and see my dudes that I put so much work into get their asses handed to them.
Well, they used to be good.
It sucks that like an army that is so ingrained in like being a hobby army is now like virtually unplayable.
That they're like literally, if you look up the Indomitus Crusade lore or the Ultima Founding lore, like 50% of that page is talking about Death Watch. Like, that's the era we're in. You know, like. To be fair, anyone
Thanks,
can
chat.
work for better health. They don't. Anyone can work for better health. They don't.
The double Talon Master shit in 10th edition. At the beginning, I think it was at the beginning of 10th edition. You could run like 2 Talon Masters, and they would basically like give each other loan op. It was so silly.
There was something like that for 9th edition too with Lookout Sir. I don't remember what it was, but there was some weird rule with Lookout Sir that they had to errata like 3 times to get working the right
Lookout
way.
Sir was weird. I played a lot of games in 9th edition where people were like confused by the way Lookout Sir worked in 9th edition, and I would be like, you can't shoot this guy, even though like he's there and you can see him. This guy that you actually can't see is closer to you, so you actually can't shoot the guy that you can see. It's a dumbass fucking rule.
Yeah, that's what I mean with like the whole like their rules don't work. Like the core rules of the game don't work properly.
It's not that I think they don't work. I guess to kind of like sum it all up is I don't know who these rules are for, right? Casual players look at this stuff and they're like, what the fuck is happening? I don't understand what's going on with these rules because there's too much going on and it's like weird and disjointed and all over the place. And you have competitive players that are like, this shit sucks. It's too simple. It's too easy. But still, it's just disjointed and all over the place. And so it's like, I don't know who they're writing these rules for because it doesn't appeal to like anyone. It's bizarre. But like, so
real quick, to Alpha's point, Alpha, I think that's a possibility that GW lets us play Black Spirit. That they decide, oh, you can still play Black Spirit.
They should. They absolutely should say that you can still play Index Deathwatch.
Well, and so so this is another thing I'm pissed about. All the reviews for the Goonhammer review and whoever else is doing the reviews. A couple of the YouTube channels were honest about how bad it is. Fucking like some people like Goonhammer went, I don't know, it's still Black Spirit Task Force. Okay, cool, bye. Like, no, fucking read the room. Be angry about this. Like someone at Goonhammer's got.
Ryan, get angry. Why aren't you mad?
I don't think you have. I don't think you have to be angry about it, but you do have to recognize that like stuff was lost. You know,
you have to be recognized that there are players who have spent thousands of dollars on these models, or at least hundreds of dollars on these models, right? And you have to understand that, like, because Ryan, you initially were like, I don't see like what you're going to be losing. It's like, that's fine.
No. What I was saying in the beginning was
unsure.
We cannot be sure that this article means you're going to lose everything. That was my point, only point ever.
But you also, there was also you had to go figure out what Deathwatch rules were different.
Yeah, like I did take it on a little bit of faith at that section in the article when they were like, you'll still be able to run Deathwatch with the Space Marines. I was like,
yeah, so did I. I tried, dude. I was fucking. I was huffing the fucking hopium.
Yeah, well, and I dug in to Deathwatch Codex. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, no, you're gonna lose stuff. And
I pulled out at that point. Last night I pulled out 9th edition Deathwatch because Jordan and I were talking about it, and the kill team rules for Deathwatch in 9th edition are 2 pages. If armies only have 1-page rules, that doesn't work. Now, granted, you could fit that on a data sheet. You just got to put it on a data sheet.
But armies don't have 1-page rules anymore. Armies have. I know. Here's your codex. Here's all your data sheets. Here's your detachment rules. And here's here's fucking 20 pages of erratas and FAQs and tournament companions. Yeah. And I am glad that they're updating rules and stuff. They're doing it wrong. They're doing it so wrong. Stop releasing physical rules.
I was pretty confident after I read the codex that you were going to lose those kill teams, but it wasn't a guaranteed thing at that point.
I wasn't. I was like, I was on board with them staying.
In my mind, the reason that it was like that you're going to lose them is because from a competitive gaming standpoint, those units are incredibly confusing, which is also to a lesser extent.
Well, they're more confusing. So they're more confusing this edition than they were the last 2 editions, because they're more confusing because the way they decided to write them is intercessor with Hellblaster weapon. No, it's a Hellblaster.
All I'm talking about when I say they're confusing is an opponent walks up to the table, knows nothing about Deathwatch, looks at that unit. GW
you got a bike in your Terminator squad, man?
Yeah, you got a bike in a Terminator. They're like, how many squads are that? GW has been moving towards, from what I can see, from what I've seen, moving towards having units be like as a unit distinct. Like you look at it, you like, even if you don't play the army, you can look at 2 units and you can be like, that's a unit, that's a unit. That's why like things like Hellblasters exist, and they all have the plasma guns, and then you have the Eliminators, they all have the melta guns, and you've got Gravis looks distinct, and they have mono weapon loadouts. Things like, as much as I hate it, at least for Space Marines, I do think eventually things like tactical squads are going to go away because they have all that flexibility in them.
They have approximately the rest of 10th edition to live.
As an old beardy guy, all those options are cool. Deathwatch was like that kind of flexibility in options taken to like a crazy level, which is a cool level, but for like a tournament game,
sure,
they don't want.
So just
that.
Legends the whole army. Just put the entire army in Legends then.
I don't know if that's I don't know if that's better, right? Like
that's
like
not
maybe that's better.
For a lot of tournaments. That's not legal.
So
sure, but no one's playing Deathwatch in tournaments anyways.
I have like different issues with this, and Sean and I kind of like talked about it yesterday. I have a problem that's like more fundamental to the entirety of Games Workshop's philosophy with 40K recently than like specifically with Deathwatch. Like, obviously it fucking sucks to lose like an entire army.
Yeah, but like
it sucks. My biggest issue with it, and like this is coming from somebody that doesn't play Deathwatch, so I don't like empathize as much. My biggest problem with it is the lack of communicating these things. They started 10th edition with like, man, they're going to be like on top of communicating with players and like letting us know when shit's happening and what's going on. And they released like the Codex roadmap, which we still don't have another one, even though Imperial Agents is about to come out, which is the fucking redacted Codex. Fuck you, Games Workshop. I'm sorry, but are you fucking kidding me? That's your redacted Codex? Fuck you. I'm so mad. Emperor's Children. I don't fucking know, man. Like an actual army.
Or a good Imperial Agents Codex.
It could have been it could have been an army that exists, and I would have been fine with it.
But like, because we all kind of have said since they showed that redacted thing, we said, oh, I bet this is Imperial Agents. Right?
I thought it was going to be Emperor's Children.
That's fair. A lot of us, like I know Matt, Matt and I think both thought it was Imperial Agents.
Yeah. There were two camps, but yeah, Imperial Agents was one of them.
But like a functional Imperial Agents Codex. Not this.
Yeah. And for them to like put all this hype behind having a redacted codex on the timeline, and then like this is the like fucking turd that they shit out on us, like, come on, man. and it's about to come out, and we don't know what's happening for the rest of the year. Like that roadmap covered 10 months basically of releases, maybe even more than that. It's probably been a whole year. It's covered a whole year of fucking releases.
The rest of the year is redacted.
Yeah, fucking apparently.
I have a theory. I have a theory on why they're not doing that anymore.
Because they don't know.
I actually wonder if they saw model sales for codexes drop if they're on the roadmap, because you're waiting to see if they get a range refresh or new models.
Yeah, but then that balances out.
I agree.
But that would be very dumb.
But if they don't, and someone buys into Dark Angels and they buy Deathwing Terminators, and then the new Deathwing Terminators kit comes out,
see,
more Deathwing Terminators.
I think there's probably more people like me than there are like that, where I'll see an army on the roadmap and I'll be like, oh, maybe I want to start that army before the codex comes out, so I'm ready when it drops. I think there's more players like that than there are players that will just not buy things when there's an army on the roadmap.
Yeah.
That just, like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, yeah, maybe that's their philosophy. It's a bad one if it is, but I wouldn't put it past them at this point.
It's all a bad philosophy.
But communication is a big thing. Not even with just like the codex roadmaps, but if you look, and I'm gonna do this a lot for kind of the rest of this conversation, is I'm gonna keep pointing at AOS and be like, look what they have over there. AOS, before the edition came out, they were like, we're gonna lose Beasts of Chaos, we're gonna lose whatever the fucking orcs were, the Savage Orcs, Bone Splitters. They're like, those are gonna be gone. You're gonna lose a whole bunch of the Stormcast stuff. We're letting you know before the edition comes out. We're still gonna put out some rules for them that you can use, but they're gonna be legends. And
wasn't a lot of that Stormcast stuff they said that they would never squat?
I don't know anything about that. I don't think they would ever claim that they're never gonna squat anything. Well, a lot of it was stuff that was like relatively recent. Like the big thing.
Stuff. So okay, now Jordan, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. What if instead they showed you a big old list of all the indexes were coming out and said all these armies are getting a codex?
That's my point.
They did that instead.
That's my point. Yeah. They did that. Yeah.
Here's the other thing.
Spoilers.
You know what they didn't have to say? All these armies are getting a codex.
Yeah. They just said, here's all the indexes are coming out. Cool. Rad. Awesome.
Great.
But AOS, before AOS came out, they were like, here's like what you're gonna lose. And everybody was like, man, that fucking sucks. That, like, my whole Beast of Chaos, like, Ashton, who's in chat right now, had Beast of Chaos. And it's like, it fucking sucks to lose all of that stuff. But what sucks more to me, like, in my opinion, is to get halfway through an edition of playing that army, and then all of a sudden, now, they're gone for the rest of the edition. And who the fuck knows how much longer.
Getting the placeholder rules, and then getting them pulled out from under you.
Yeah.
You know.
So, like,
you know what
communicate that they're gonna go away, or just don't squat them.
Because I spent a ton of money on Death Watch at the beginning of the edition.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
like to get ready to be on Slam Sector.
You put a lot of fucking like money and time into getting them ready because you wanted to have really cool fucking models for an army that presumably was going to exist for the entirety of 10th edition.
And here's the thing, right? I would have still spent that money. I would have just done it on Black Templars.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
Or Votan or another army. Right? I don't know.
Right. Yeah, that's like another good point. The stuff that got squatted in AOS like went to Old World, which, like to me that's still squatting it, right? Because I have little interest in Old World, and but I think that probably applies to most Age of Sigmar players.
Yeah, because that's like saying fuck you, you can't play your army in this game anymore. All your friends play this army. All your friends play this game, but you now have to go play this other game that they don't play.
Right, yeah. I've been playing this game with my buddies with this army for however long, and now I have to go play a different game. Fuck you. Which, again, it sucks. But they said it before the edition came out, so you didn't get, completely cucked. I'm mad. I'm sorry.
You know what, Jordan?
I'm mad.
Remember what Samurai said. Cucking isn't always, sometimes cucking is okay.
Samurai did say that. But yeah, so no roadmap, no army, hey, here's what's going away. I don't know what the fuck is going on with the game at all. I felt like I was in tune with what was happening at the beginning of 10th edition, and then all of a sudden, all of that dropped off. There's no more communication, except, when something is going to come out in, the next month, then they'll put out a Warcom article about it. I get most of my news about, what's coming out from fucking Valrak, dude. It's insane. He knows about shit before it's ever on Warcom.
Well, and like I check Warcom all the time, and I just found out a dope terrain set's coming out that I never saw in Warcom. Apparently, it was in a preview article, but I didn't fucking see it. Like, I don't know. It's just crazy. It's crazy. All right, let's Jordan. This is going to be the longest After Dark we've ever had.
We're already at an hour and a half. Yeah, Ryan, if you need to leave, you can leave. But
yeah, we know you've got places.
Well, I need to give my opinion on what might be the last thing we're talking about, because I feel like that's the most thing I differ.
I'm approximately halfway through my list.
Ryan, I think I share. Ryan, I think I share your opinion on this one.
I don't know what it is, so go for it.
Do we want to go ahead and talk about the Sanguinary Guard?
Yeah, so I think that
sure.
I think the Sanguinary Guard look great.
The Sanguinary Guard make me want to kill myself.
I like them.
Explain to us why they're bad, in your opinion.
No, I know. Well, hold on.
I want to hear.
So, it's not that in and of themselves they're awful models. They're ugly as far as Space Marines go, in my opinion. Like the heads, fucking gross looking. I hate the way that the heads look. I think that the little wings on their grab shoot flaps or whatever those fucking things are, that's so stupid.
Well, okay,
but my biggest problem is that if you look at them compared to the old Sanguinary Guard, those things were fucking blinged the fuck out. They had so much like filigree all over their armor. Their shoulder pads looked fucking rad with the big old wings on them. They had actual fucking angel wings. If you look at fucking AOS, again, I'm doing it again. Look at AOS models. If you look at the prosecutors that just came out for AOS with the new Stormcast stuff, that's what fucking Sanguinary Guard should have been. Like, if you just look over at that other game that has way better models, they already have the perfect Sanguinary Guard proxies right there, and 40k should have that level of detail because it is their flagship fucking game. It's wild that...
I don't think it is anymore.
It totally is. I mean, you can not think that all you want. 40k makes them astronomically more money than AOS does. I don't think
they want it to be anymore.
They do.
Like,
there's...
It's their competitive game.
So this kind of goes to why I think that it's a complacency thing and not necessarily like like they're dumb, right? Because Games Workshop as a company clearly knows what they're doing. If you look at AOS, so AOS, like obviously 4th edition, still has some issues. I hate the app. Like, I could do a whole separate thing about, like, issues that I have with Age of Sigmar. But it's in a way better spot, and it's being way more positively received than 40k 10th edition has ever been. And it's, if you look at the models, if you look at the rules, if you look at the way that they're communicating about everything, which, to be fair, they were doing that at the beginning of 10th edition also. So... maybe that'll change when AOS is farther into its lifespan. But if you just look over there at that cute little fantasy game, which makes them a fraction of the money that 40k does, you can see that things could be so much better. They have fucking rad sculpts. They have, like, very dynamic poses. And then you look at 40k, and you see that we got... plain old Sanguinary Guard that could be, if you swap the helmets out, they just look like jump intercessors with abs.
Okay.
Which is...
they just look like jump intercessors with a six-pack.
That's the thing. They have more armor detail than average assault intercessor. They have
Barely.
A lot of details. They basically have lost the wings.
If you take...
and they're bigger models.
And the nipples. They lost the nipples. I'm sorry.
Okay, the old ones had nipples. You've lost the wings and the nips.
If you
By the way, Alicord, thank you for the $5 for Jordan's therapy.
Thank you. I need it.
Aside from the nipples, they basically just lost the wings.
Look, when we said
that's absolutely not true.
I'm actively looking at models. And so the thing I was going to say is they're bigger models. Those old Sanguinary Guard are little tiny boys.
Sanguinary Guard could have used an update for sure.
The elements, the aesthetic elements are still there in the new models. They're just scaled up, and it's not as dense of a detail of model because they're bigger. They're in the proper scale. But they have all the features of the old Sanguinary. The helmets, the blood drops, the muscles. They have some of the the loincloth.
Gonna have to
they have wings on their shoulder pads.
Super hard disagree. They don't have wings on their shoulder pads. They have the Blood Angels logo on their shoulder pads. They don't have the wings that the old Sanguinary Guard used to have.
And I
that's
know
gone.
some people have some...
And they lost a lot of the like filigree that was on the armor. Like if you look at the shin plates on some of the old Sanguinary Guard, if you look at the I don't know what this fucking thing's called, their little collar piece.
Gorget.
Gorget. If you look at their gorget, it's got like carving and detail all over it that is now gone. They have like little fucking bits and bobs. No, they don't. They have that's not it. That's not what I'm talking about.
Well, what are you talking about?
A bunch of them have like wings on their shin pads and the little.
I see the little wing guys now.
If you
it's not all of them, but it's some of them.
If you took the Blood Angel symbol off of the old Sanguinary Guard, I would immediately be like, yeah, fuck yeah, those are Blood Angels. I can tell just by looking at them. Like, just by the way that they stylistically are with all the filigree and all this cool shit. Yeah, the new ones, if you shave the Blood Angel symbol off of there, those could pass as, like, any Space Marine chapter.
I would still know that Blood Angels could do that. Stuff. Yeah. And they've got blood drops all over them.
And maybe that's the goal, but it's fucking boring.
So, Jordan, I'm gonna play a game here real quick.
Okay.
They did the same thing to the Primaris Crusaders. Oh no, they didn't. Those are great, aren't they? They did the same thing to the Primaris Sword Breath. No, those are really good too.
Oh, what about those like Inner Circle Companion guys that came out for the Dark Angels?
Oh, Deathwing Knights. They did the same thing.
Deathwing Knights. They didn't.
Yeah, but like every other faction unique unit has gotten awesome treatment for Space Marines.
Yeah, you just have to look at this edition. The Inner Circle Companions and the new Deathwing Knights from Dark Angels, like, separate Space Marine chapter, those look fucking sick. Well, they are immediately recognizable as Dark Angels.
But hold on, but you did have some complaints with the Deathwing Knights initially?
Yeah, I do. I still do. I think that they suffer from the same kind of thing, in that they've lost a lot of the detail. I think they're better than the Sanguinary Guard.
On the Deathwing Knights?
Yeah, if you look at the new Deathwing Knights compared to the old Deathwing Knights, they also lost a lot of the like filigree and stuff that used to be on their armor, and like a lot of the little cool details that made them like very recognizably Dark Angel. I think that they are significantly better than the Sanguinary Guard.
Yeah, I'm hit or miss on the I'm hit or miss on the helmets.
The Inner Circle Companions are like a much closer like comparison because they're like the same kind of unit.
Sure.
They're a new unit, but like they're the same like they're like this elite infantry unit that is supposed to like embody the spirit of the chapter.
Right, like
Sword. And they're kind of like bodyguards.
Like Sword Brethren, yeah. I have a theory that the Inner Circle Companions were supposed to come out last edition when Lion came out, and they were supposed to be in that box, and they put Blade Guard veterans in there instead.
So I've got two positives on these new Sanguinary Guard. 3 positives on the new Sanguinary Guard. So first, they all have loincloths now, tabard, loincloth, cock cloths, whatever.
Okay.
Which I like. It's great. The poses are more dynamic. I do like the dynamism of the poses. And I love the spears. And
they're just jump intercessors. They have like the same poses as jump pack intercessors.
Do they?
It's pretty fucking close.
But they're more dynamic than the old Sanguinary Guard, I think.
Yeah, I'm under no impression that like the old Sanguinary Guard were like technically better models. Like they definitely needed an update. They didn't need this update.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not saying that you don't think that. I'm just trying to play. I'm giving the devil's advocate for the for the whatever. I don't like the wings on the shoulder pads on the old Sanguinary Guard. I think it looks bad. And I don't really like the Angel Wing on the old Sanguinary Guard either. Right. But if you move to,
it sounds like you just don't like Blood Angel. Like it's those are like that's you.
No, Blood Angels was going to be when I was picking chapters, it was between Dark Angels, Blood Angels, and Death Watch initially. So like I do like Blood Angels.
If you have you seen like the most recent like canon art of Sanguinary Guard?
Yeah, it's this, but Primaris.
It's the old Sanguinary Guard, but Primaris.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, I know.
It fucking exists.
They look good. I don't like the wings, but I don't like that style of wing. I prefer the Prosecutor style of wing minus the flames.
Sure.
Right? If you gave me the Prosecutor style wings minus the flames, or like something closer to the Sisters wings, I'm on board.
Yeah, I mean the positive for Blood Angels players is that your perfect Sanguinary Guard proxies already exist in another game. Just go buy those.
or like you can kit bash. Like I would have to kit bash my perfect Sangard.
Yeah.
It would take a little work, but I can get there. Right? This is a good base for my perfect Sangard. Now that being said, I'm hit or miss with the helmets. Like I understand where people are coming from with the helmets. I think these are fine. I would like the the spikes.
I'm pretty sure they've confirmed that Sanguinary Guard only have swords and spears now. Which, to be fair, Space Marines that have spears, fucking rad. I love that. Yeah, that's sick.
I'm okay losing power axes. I think spears are more interesting because
I think they feel more Blood Angels to me.
They feel more, and I think the AOS. I think the AOS equivalent of Sanguinary Guard have spears.
Maybe
I don't think there's.
I don't think that the new models are all bad.
Crest helmets.
No, they don't have spikes. They just have the crest. There's no spikes there.
There's little spikes on there. If you look, there's spikes sticking out.
Okay, I see what.
Those aren't spikes. Those are nubs. You should be ashamed of yourself as a Chaos Space Marines player.
Yeah, you should be able to.
I have no shame as a Chaos Space Marines player.
Yeah, we know.
So my thought, I have some thoughts on why they did this. If you look at the Sanguinor, his armor is noticeably more ornate, kind of more in line with like the old
bad
Sanguinary Guard. You don't like the T-pose?
I don't. I have basically the same problem with the new Sanguinor as I do with like I don't even play Blood Angels, man. I don't play Blood Angels, but if the Sanguinor is supposed to be their Primarch equivalent, and if you look at that fucking model compared to Gilliman and Lionel Johnson, it sucks. It's awful. It's so fucking boring.
Jordan, can you pull up that one guy? I don't know his name.
But anyway,
you know
what I was gonna say.
I don't know.
the winged guy, the winged AOS guy with he's on the purity seals. You know who I'm talking about. Come on.
Yeah, hold on.
Get with the program.
I think the main reason they took the wings away from the Sanguinary Guard is to make them visually distinct from the Sanguinor. I think that was their
but you could still do that. You could still do that. I agree.
I'm not saying that that's like the right move.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't like the sort of shift towards catering to competitive.
Is this what you're talking about?
Yeah, that guy.
That guy, yeah. That guy looks red.
Here's your fucking Sanguinor.
So this is a character version of the Prosecutors.
Yeah, there's your fucking Sanguinor.
Yeah. I think the reason the Sanguinor looks the way he does is because he is basically just an updated version of the old model. Now, whether or not that was the right way to... It's like, some people are going to love that because it's like their old model, but it looks fresh.
Like, all I'm saying is I don't think that the argument that they had to make the Sanguinary Guard be more boring the Sanguinor would stand out more holds up.
That's not my argument. I think that is part of what their thinking was.
I'm not saying that that's your argument. I'm saying that if that is their argument, it doesn't hold up. Like, if that's their reason for doing it, it doesn't hold up at all, because you just, again, look at fucking AOS. This guy is very clearly the character version of this guy. Like,
so like another good Well, okay, so real quick, I did see a really dope Sanguinor kit bash using Sigvald.
Okay.
Looked awesome.
The
AOS.
The AOS Slanesh, yeah.
Yeah, Slanesh champion. But like, look at fucking the Dawnbreaker cohort from, yeah, there you go. Yeah, look at him, right? That's fucking amazing, right?
Yeah, that fucks. Like undeniably.
The one I saw had the angel wings from that chick from the starter box.
I don't know what you're talking about, but there's a lot of people that have done like Sigvald.
That one right there at the
Singers.
bottom center of the screen. The girl with the spear and the wings. No.
Oh, Indrasta?
Yeah, Indrasta. Yeah, those wings was the one I saw, which
Yeah.
I think would look great on that model. So Dawnbreaker cohort is a heresy model. It is a Blood Angels unit with jump packs and bolters strapped to their arms and spears, and they look great. They don't look like Sanguinary Guard, but they like are way more detailed, way more ornate. They have all the filigree, like they're fitting for Sanguinary Guard in a way that these ones aren't. And again, I'm kind of with Ryan. I don't hate these new Sanguinary Guard, but I understand where it's like
I don't
know you don't hate them either.
Hate them.
Yeah.
They have committed the cardinal sin of being boring as shit.
Yeah.
It's not that they're bad models. It's that they're fucking boring. And also the heads are actually bad. Like, and again, this is like a through line that's gone all the way through 10th edition thus far, is that they're fucking stripping the flavor and character out of everything. They're turning everything fucking vanilla. And
I will agree with that.
They had, I think, a golden opportunity to like take the idea of detachments and like, if you're gonna give datasheets a bunch of fucking abilities, make it fucking flavorful, dude. Like, don't give every datasheet the same fucking ability repeated across every army. Just like, make it interesting. And that's again, I guess that sentiment applies to the entirety of 10th edition to me. I don't think it's a bad edition. I think it's a good game. But it's fucking boring, dude.
If I wanted the flavor stripped away, I would play a different game.
I would go play BattleTech or something.
Or like one page rule.
Whoa!
I knew that would rile you up.
Hold on. Wait a second there.
I had a lot of fun with BattleTech.
Oh.
Yeah, who uses hexes? They're so unflavorful.
Yeah, dude, who the fuck uses Gator? Come on, man.
I'm gonna beat you in the face with a hex.
No, I actually like
Come after
BattleTech.
my battle.
I really hope we didn't turn anyone off on this video.
I
hope we turn some people on.
I've got more things on my list, but we don't have to keep going because I know it's fucking exhausting listening to this. But
Step back from the ledge, Jordan. Step back.
It sucks, man. Like
40K
40K could be
Slammer first edition.
It could just be so much better than it is, right? Like I still have fun with it. I still play it because I have fun rolling dice with the boys. But it could be so much better, and 10th edition has just been like squandered opportunity after squandered opportunity. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating to like watch a company that makes this much money do this kind of shit.
I mean, we're going into Slam Sector Year 3 right now, right? This is Slam Sector. Are we at Slam Sector Year 3?
Not yet.
Officially begun.
No, in about a month.
Okay, Slam Sector Year 3. We've got some ideas. Slam Sector Year 4. I think we just are playing like Necromunda and fucking.
I mean, I want to expand. I want to expand beyond Games Workshop games.
Sure, and I think we will.
And like we played Shatterpoint on stream. That was like kind of our first like little dabble into it.
Yeah,
we're gonna crack open.
I would love to play more like GW games, but it's like obviously GW games are where the big audience is, and also they're just like, say what you will about like the state of 10th edition 40K. it is still just like a better game than most
More
tabletop
games.
game companies are putting out.
Yeah.
And that's part of why it sucks so much to see them making decisions like this.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I know. Okay, so look, like full disclosure, right? Like, I'm on the other side of the country.
what?
This is for the chat, not you, Jordan. You know this.
Oh my god! How could this happen?
I'm on the other side of the country, right? Ultimately, there's fucking 4 of you that do most things. Occasionally, you have a 5th or a 6th person, right? It's easy for you guys to jump and play a game of Warhammer because you have that ready to go. If we're playing other games, we have to prep for that. You have to build graphics. We have to have new armies and new models.
Yeah, that's never been
painted
a
up.
problem for me.
I know, but I'm just saying, right? Like, so that shit's coming. Like, I want to play Warcry. I want to play Frosthaven, Frostgrave, stuff like that. Not Frosthaven, Frostgrave, and what's the Mordheim? Right?
Mordheim, yeah. Let's play Mordheim and Gorka Morka. Mordheim and Gorka
Well,
Morka.
You have to wait. You have to wait until I'm there to play Mordheim Rhine, or I will be mad.
All right, I'll wait on Mordheim.
So,
for
like,
you.
if you look at our streams that we've done in the past, if you look back to basically since after the Orcs Codex came out, basically 90% of our streams have been like non-standard like 40k 10th edition like match play. Like we started doing AOS, we started doing Spearhead, like we've done multiple Horde mode streams, we did the whole narrative, like we've been like having to branch out, and part of that is because I'm just like I have to, man. Like,
okay, well, so
I was
right.
getting so bogged down in just like playing standard match play 40k,
right?
Because it's just like you play one game, you've played them all at some point, and it's got boring. And we're gonna go back to it. Like, we're gonna get back to that at some point. Because I don't not enjoy the game, but I needed to take like a 3-month break from just playing standard fucking 40k match play.
And that's what I was kind of getting at, was I hope that people are excited to see us branch out and do weird stuff and do new stuff, because I know that we want to, time allowing, right?
And
so
time allowing, money allowing, you know,
maybe a second stream a week or a second stream twice a month or something.
I mean,
that's what you're about
I have grand plans for the channel when it's sustainable. To be like perfectly transparent, I lose a lot of money running the stream.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I enjoy it, so I'm like willing to do that because I enjoy playing games with my buddies. I enjoy just like the act. It's kind of like an art of like building a stream and broadcasting it, and hanging out with everybody in chat. We've built like a pretty rad community, I think. So it's like I enjoy everything that's come out of playing 40k.
Yeah, and let me fuck, man. I spent 40 hours on a dreadnought. Like,
Is this a part where like we play dramatic music and then we kiss?
No, I just like I just want to add like some positivity. Like I don't want it to make it seem I want to make it seem not like negative.
Yeah, the stream was like wildly overwhelmingly negative.
Yeah.
Because
so,
it's been a lot of things that have just happened since like not since 10th edition came out. It's just been like a lot of little things, and I needed to take a stream. I needed to take like a couple of hours out of my life and just fucking yell about it.
Yeah.
Because it's frustrating.
I think the positive takeaway is, despite all these things that we find frustrating about what GW is doing, this hobby, this thing we do together, it really is defined by what we bring to the table, what we decide to do with our miniatures and the rules that are given to us. We're not bound by, Codex Imperial agents. If Sean came
We
over
made our
to
own
play 40K,
we made our own
you
fucking
wanted-
Custodes detachment.
You made your own detachment. If Sean wanted to play the Black Talon index,
Double Black
that's
Talons,
fine,
baby.
finding ways of how to
We're
have
doing
fun
the
with
grand
your
narrative.
friends.
We're doing the grand narrative in a couple months. Like,
Yeah.
it's not doom and gloom. Like, it's still a fucking great hobby. I still enjoy it a lot. I'm still happy to burn my fucking dollars on it.
Well, there's so a lot of where we've been on this stream is kind of been the mood of like the D&D content creation sphere for the last 2 years for a number of similar reasons. There's one creator that I really like, and it doesn't matter. Like, his name's Mike Shea, Sly Flourish, but his point is that D&D is bigger than Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah,
I do think at this point Warhammer is bigger than Games Workshop as well. Right? Like we don't have to. I mean, Mordheim is still still wildly popular, right?
I mean, if you
Mordheim's-
look at Horde mode, right? Like
Yeah, Horde-
that's like a
great
whole
example,
fucking massive game mode that Warhammer just like built from the ground up. That is just like an attachment to 40K, but they like put a bunch of time into it and everything, and it's fucking rad. It's basically they kind of called it, or they kind of like equated it to like EDH for Magic, right? It's the same kind of concept.
I forget they're a Magic podcast first. Oh my god.
Yeah, check out Solely Singleton.
That makes so much more sense.
But yeah, it's there is room for the community to do their own shit with the game, and I think people are finally starting to realize that. And I hope more people realize that. And I want to do more stuff with that. Like, I want to write more fucking weird ass, dumbass detachments and stuff, and do like make up our own game modes with the stream. We did the narrative. We did like just our little narrative that between the Gene Stealer cults and the Custodes, and that was like we tweaked a whole bunch of rules and did some goofy shit. So there is a lot of room to play around in the sandbox that is Warhammer.
And more AOS stuff.
Yeah,
coming.
I'm gonna do some more AOS stuff. Like I'm, if I'm being fully honest, I'm enjoying AOS more than I'm enjoying 10th edition 40K right now. Like if you watched our stream that we did on Monday, we don't know what we're doing. We had no fucking clue. We did the whole game wrong.
Mistakes were made, but it was still fun.
But it was so much fucking fun, man. Like, like all of the rules are crazy, like fun and flavorful and weird, and it's the complacency thing. You can look at AOS and be like, they clearly know how to do this shit. Like they know what they're doing, but they are scared or they're just complacent with like the success that 40K has. They don't want to take any risks with it. And
to an extent,
it's boring as fuck.
It's the competitive scene, esports thing, which
Yeah.
my counter to that. But like also my counter to that as a design perspective, like look, we've seen in previous editions the competitive scene will modify the rules if they have to, right? Like GW doesn't have to cater. Like you had the whole WTC format for so long. And you have all these different competitive formats. Like you can. That stuff could be adjusted by them.
I don't think GW likes that happening.
So
who cares? It's better for the game.
My take on that.
You're not wrong. I'm just saying what GW wants is what's going to govern how they design their game.
Sure.
Here is kind of my take on, as somebody that has worked in the esports industry for basically a decade at this point. They are definitely streamlining the game for the sake of quote-unquote esportsification. What that means is they're trying to make it a game that is broadly accessible to a wide variety of players, but still has room for competitive players to have enough structure to play tournaments for this game. And the idea of esports is marketing. 100%. I don't give a shit what anybody else says. The entire philosophy behind esports is marketing for whatever video game it is that esport, right? So like the Rocket League Championship Series is all about marketing Rocket League. And of course there's little grassroots tournaments and stuff that pop up. But the best game developers are the ones that foster that kind of thing. If you look at like Counter-Strike and stuff like that, they have fostered that kind of like grassroots community from the beginning, and that has blown their game up and blown up their esports scene. And GW, they are esportsifying their game, but only the game. Their tournaments suck ass. Their broadcasts are awful. They're not doing anything with it. So it's bizarre to like watch them do that kind of thing for no reason.
I'm curious to see this weekend with the announcement stream what it looks like.
It's gonna look like shit. It always does.
But is it gonna be the format they switched to a couple
the pre-recorded
streams ago?
The pre-recorded? Yeah. No,
together?
They're not going back to live.
Okay, because that might be why we didn't have one for Tacoma, because they might have switched. They might have switched gears. I'm wondering.
No, they didn't. What was going to get announced at Tacoma?
Imperial Agents, Blood Angels.
Yeah, you think they wanted to announce Imperial Agents live on a stream? Yeah, like there's a reason they didn't do a Tacoma stream, and it's that.
Alpha Omega.
Esports are in the Olympic. Esports have their own separate Olympics from the IOC.
It's a thing. It's a thing. It's a whole
and it's bad. It's terrible.
It's
the IOC is an awful organization. They don't know what they're doing. That's another whole other conversation.
I don't know anything about that.
The IOC is wildly corrupt and awful at what they do.
Is that the
International Olympic
Committee or whatever? International Olympic Committee?
So the Olympic esports, they don't use any like real games. They use all these fake made up games that aren't real games, that are mobile games.
What?
A bunch of them are mobile games, and there's a reason for that. The vast majority of video games that are played in the world are played on mobile.
That is true.
So we're as like, especially as people that are not like widely involved in the esports industry, it's hard to recognize that mobile gaming is fucking massive in every other part of the world besides the United States. And probably it's not that big in Europe, but like if you look at Asia and you look at South America and like basically every other part of the world, it's huge, and it blows Western esports out of the water numbers-wise. So it doesn't surprise me at all that an international competition is going to have a bunch of mobile games.
Yeah. Jordan and Ryan, just as we end here.
Are we ending? I'm only halfway through my document.
You want to do the whole list?
I'm kidding. I was
going to give you the perfect stinger to hit the button and end on.
I'm sorry, I ruined it.
What's going on Monday?
Nothing. I'm having surgery on Monday, so nothing's happening.
Okay. Well, we might.
Probably.
Okay. Maybe Space Marine 1 stream on Monday then.
We'll talk. That's up to you, dog.
Oh no, Jill comes.
I might do.
Nothing's happening on Monday.
Yeah, nothing Monday. Fuck you.
Thursday we'll see. The following Monday.
Monday is redacted.
Monday is redacted. Thursday is also redacted.
I've been halfway down my list since we started the stream. The following Monday we'll see. I don't know what's.
The following Monday we'll see, and then the following Thursday we will also see.
Every Thursday we'll see, basically.
I've never had this.
Some Thursdays we just come up with like on the fly.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like because Thursday you don't have to be there to run Thursday anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
I
don't have to be there to run Monday either. They've done Monday streams without me.
No, but it's done in your house. So.
It is done in my house. Yeah.
Yeah, but I know how to get into his house. I don't need him for that.
Yeah.
Epic Gamer's gonna stream for us on Monday.
Hell yeah!
Everybody check out youtube.com/epicgamer or something. I don't actually know.
maybe Thursday there will be Thursday we'll do something, and then the following Monday we'll do something, and the following Thursday hopefully there's going to be something special.
Yeah.
And then we're back to normal schedule. But real quick to go out, Jordan,
Hello.
you got any games on your phone?